Hey guys, KingRazzel here, and today I'm going to be reviewing Lichdom Battlemage. This game was released on April 19th, 2016 on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, and this review relates specifically to the version on the PlayStation 4, as that's the version that I played. The game is also available on PC, however, and was released on August 26th, 2014. As with my Ratchet & Clank video, I'm going to be breaking this down into the categories of story, which is my review on the story, gameplay, my review on the gameplay, obviously, and value, which is pretty much how much you're getting with the purchase price of this game. The story of the game begins with your selection of character. You have the choices of a male or female protagonist, but there is no character customization, only the option of gender. I chose the male, so the story that I'm going to give you is the side of the male. The game begins with you and your wife talking in your place of business. A man enters and picks up a sword left out and remarks that he'd like to purchase it for his son. Your character tells the man that the sword he is holding is spoken for, and you ask him to choose another. The man claims if he cannot have the sword, then he will take your wife instead, and so you angrily tell the man and his associate to leave. The man refuses and instead has his associate kill your wife and knock you unconscious. When you awaken, you meet a man named Roth who tells you that he's bestowed you with an unfathomable amount of power, and that the man who killed your wife was Count Shax. You vow revenge on Count Shax, and the rest of the game is spent attempting to kill Shax, his children, and Captain Rogero. You'll have periodic encounters with a woman, or man if you choose the woman as your character, who is designated as your Griffin, while you are designated as the Dragon. These are titles bestowed upon you by Roth, who seems to be a master wizard of sorts. The story, in my opinion, was okay. It's not the most engaging tale, but the voice actors managed to give the characters some personality, and that makes their interactions more interesting. The two most notable voice actors being Troy Baker, who plays the role of the male Griffin or Dragon, and Jennifer Hale, who plays the part of the female. Some of the characters are mildly interesting, such as Shaq's children, but overall the story is only decent, and it leaves a lot of questions to be desired. The gameplay is terrible, at least on the PlayStation 4, but it's not the gameplay itself, but rather the atrocious frame rate. Take a look at this clip. Anytime there's any sort of scuffle between you and the opposition, the game lags terribly and makes it very difficult to play and even more difficult to enjoy. It can't be overestimated how big of an annoyance this is, and this is the biggest gripe I have with this game. If not for the lag, however, this game would actually be pretty alright. There are a total of 8 spell types at your disposal, including Ice, Fire, Lightning, Kinesis, Phase, Delirium, Necromancy, and Corruption. All the spells perform differently and have different uses in combat. For instance, the Kinesis spell allows you to cover an enemy in a veil of blackness, and if you hit them with another attack, then that enemy will take massive damage. This is the core concept of the game, combining the spells for different effects, and it's actually pretty interesting, and I had fun toying around with these spells at times. You could also perform synergy spells that you crafted. These spells would combine the effects of 2 other spells to create something unique. To be honest, I didn't quite understand this mechanic and never used it since they didn't really give a proper explanation that I found, but it is in there and it seems like it would be fun, but apparently you have to use a synergy bar, which I never found. It's also important to note that you have 2 different menus that accommodate to your playstyle. Do you want the computer to pretty much dictate the spells you're using at any given time? Then the smart menu will tell you when certain spells can be upgraded. Do you want to craft your own spells, unique upgrades, and select your own magic uses? Then the custom menu gives you more free reign over what spells you're going to use. These menus were pretty intuitive and you could switch between them at any time. As for the actual levels and enemies of the game, they're pretty annoying to be honest with you. The locations are alright, the actual architecture of the world is pretty interesting, and there is somewhat of a branching path system which makes the game feel less linear than it actually is. However, every path that you take is absolutely dripping with enemies. You take out one horde, and 5 steps later, you have a whole nother crew to deal with. It's infuriating, especially after you die 20 minutes after a checkpoint, and you have to fight through the same exact hordes over and over again. It's also important to note that the load times of the game are very long. I'd say it takes around 3 to 5 minutes or more just loading into a level, but to be fair, once you've loaded in, you won't have another load time until you leave or complete that mission. Overall, I think the concept of the game is interesting. Magic combinations are fun to try, but it's all so muddled in enemy mobs and frame rate issues that it makes the game a chore to play. The value of the game is pretty good if you can enjoy the gameplay. It took me around 12 hours to get through at my leisure, exploring some but not everything. There is also the option of a New Game Plus, which I didn't check out, but there is a trophy for it, so it's got to be in there. And there's also post-game dungeons. After you've completed the game, you'll have several post-game dungeons unlocked, which offer you the ability to continue trekking through different enemy mobs to reach a certain objective. I think this game does have significant value if you're into the style and gameplay of the game. However, I didn't find it all that replayable since the gameplay was so exhausting to me. Overall, I did not enjoy my time with Lichdom Battlemage. The frame rate really crippled the experience for me and made anything that might have been fun, not fun. The spell system was solid, however, and the voice acting was also very good. I think if you're going to get this game, then you need to get it on the PC because the consoles, or at least the PlayStation 4, do not run it well. If they release a patch or something, then this game may be decent, but as it stands right now, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. Don't pick this one up on the PS4 unless they fix the issues because it's a headache to play, and to further illustrate that point, let me show you the trophies on it, which, might I add, are not difficult to obtain if the game ran correctly. Alright guys, so that's it for this review. I tried to look at this game as fair and just as I could, and this is where I landed on it. If you guys have any comments on this game, or you've played it yourself and had an altogether different experience than I did, then let me know in the comments below. I think I'm going to do a storybook episode on this because I think I can make it funny, but that'll be a few weeks away. Also, I started a channel called KingRazzel, which is pretty much just going to house my review archival footage. I'm going to post commentary-less gameplays on there, so if you're interested in that, then be sure to check that out. Lichdom will be up on there, so if you want to check out my struggle through it, then I'm going to post the entire game on there by all means, just check that out. But anyways, guys, I want to thank you all for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, then don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe for more. And I hope to see you guys in my next video.